All
I'd
right.
like to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 3:06 p.m. on January 14th, 2025. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the West Covina Traffic Commission meeting. I'd like to go ahead and introduce our committee members. My name is Allison Richter. I'm with the West Covina Traffic Department.
Michael Lloyd, Acting City Engineer.
Jana Robbins with the Track Department.
Joanne Burns, Deputy Community Development Director.
Robert Ortega, CIP Project Manager.
Okay, thank you. Our second item, I should say, is traffic committee items taken from the previous traffic commission meeting. So the first item was the traffic review at Walnut Creek Parkway from Azusa Avenue to Citrus Street. The second item was traffic review of East Workman Avenue and North Murata Avenue. The third item was traffic review of Liberty Way and Workman Avenue. And the fourth item was a truck signage review of East Garvey Avenue between Lark Ellen Avenue and South Azusa Avenue. So those items will be prepared and brought to the city council meeting in the future. So on to the third item on the agenda is the new traffic committee items. So item 3A is the traffic review at Nelson Street between Azusa Avenue and Fairgrove Avenue. So a resident submitted a request to the city for a review of the existing conditions along Nelson Street between Azusa Avenue and Fairgrove Avenue. The resident expressed concern that there was speeding along the segment and for the school bus that makes a stop along the segment as well. And the resident is requesting for the installation of speed humps or other traffic calming devices. So for the traffic and geometric data that was reviewed along the segment, we completed a collision review for 3.75 years from January 2021 through October 2024, and it was reported that there were 0 reported mid-block collisions along the segment. The existing speed limit along Nelson Street is a prima facie speed limit of 25 miles per hour, and the speed limit along Azusa Avenue is 45 miles per hour, and the speed limit along Fairgrove Avenue is 35 miles per hour. We had a review along the segment which was 1,545 feet long, and the street width along Nelson Street is approximately 40 feet from Fairgrove Avenue to Lahaina Street, and approximately 50 feet in width from Lahaina Street to Azusa Avenue. There's 1 lane of travel in each direction with a solid center line along Nelson Street, and there's existing parking allowed on both sides of the street except for where the street is marked red. The adjacent land use in this area is single-family residential as well as some apartment complexes. And the street along Nelson Street is stop controlled at Nelson and Fairgrove and at Nelson and Azusa Avenue. As part of our review, we also had average daily traffic counts and 85th percentile speed counts collected. So for the average daily traffic, there was a total of 723 vehicles that traveled along the segment in a 24-hour period. And during the 24-hour review, the 85th percentile speed was reported to be 32 miles per hour. So 85% of the vehicles were traveling at 32 miles per hour or below that. So as a part of that review, based off of the review that we completed along the segment, we were able to determine some recommendations to improve the existing conditions along Nelson Street. So the first recommendation was to install a 25 mile per hour speed limit sign along Nelson Street for southbound traffic on the west side of the street, approximately 230 feet east of Fairgrove Avenue. The second recommendation was to install a new 25 mile per hour speed limit sign along Nelson for northbound traffic on the east side of the street, approximately 230 feet west of Fairgrove Avenue. The third recommendation is to remove and replace the damaged stop sign located on the southeast corner of the intersection at Nelson Street and Azusa Avenue. And the fourth recommendation is to remove and replace the faded Keep Right symbol sign that is located on the raised median at the intersection of Nelson Street and Azusa Avenue for eastbound traffic. Do we have any comments or questions about this?
So where is the number 4?
There's like a center median at Nelson and Azusa. It's like a little
Okay,
bit
it's
south of
on
the
Nelson
intersection.
though.
It's on Nelson. Yeah.
Okay, because sounded like it was on Azusa.
Yeah,
No, it's
I
on
think it was-
Nelson.
I could have worded that a little bit better. But yeah, it's on Nelson, yeah.
Okay.
Are the side streets, they're adjacent to Nelson, particularly Wailea, are those private or public streets?
Yes, yeah, it's private condos.
So those are privately maintained
Yeah.
streets? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the recommendations? I think at this point, first step is to install some signage that people are aware what the speed limit is on Nelson. We'll see how that goes, and then at a later time, like Allison, I believe you said, speed humps aren't unless it's like step 3 and it has really excessive speeding. So we'll kind of keep an eye on it, and that I know one of the residents is here, and that if there is continually, excessive speeding, then we'll look at the next step.
Well, what happens, you have apartment buildings, so you have a constant turnover, and you get groups that are in there and they race back and forth. And there's so many blind spots coming out of the condominiums, or the condos, and then also the apartments, because there's parking on both sides of the street. So you could get, if somebody's going 40, 50 miles an hour, you have no chance of getting out of the way. It's really fortunate no accidents have occurred there. It's just, and I'm concerned about the school buses too, there's a couple school buses that come twice a day. So kids, sometimes they get out and they run across the street, so it's just preventative, hopefully nothing will happen, so. But the speed signs would help a lot, that would definitely help.
So I think we just monitor it, and then if you see that it's, speeds are continuously excessive or that, we can also notify PD and have them do some spot enforcement. Now, is there a certain time that you notice that, or it's just random?
All times of the day.
Because, the problem PD has is that they don't have time to sit there all day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a spot, hit or miss.
Sometimes it's
So-
early in the morning, people are rushing to get to work.
To work,
and-
it's
yeah,
kind of the
so earlier
commute
in the
times.
mornings. Yeah, I can work with the police department on that.
Okay.
So at this point, you're not gonna install the 25-mile-an-hour signs?
No,
or-
we
Oh,
are.
you will, oh, okay.
Yes, this
That would
is
help a
the-
lot.
yeah.
That would definitely.
Yeah, this is the first step, so we will go ahead and do this. And
We would be
then as long
pleased
as
with
we're
that. A
okay
lot of
with that,
residents
yeah.
have come forward, to bring their concerns
Yeah.
to me, and we run a neighborhood watch at the
Okay.
condominium area, so it kind of oversees that whole area. So-
Okay, great.
so, Thank you, appreciate
So,
it.
yeah, so we will do that, and then, like I said, we'll notify PD. I mean, it's spot enforcement, so I don't know, it's not like a certain time or a day. They'll just keep it on their list.
I
Just
work with Matt
swing by.
Nelson.
Okay.
Matt comes to our neighborhood watch meetings
Oh,
too,
okay, yeah. So just,
He's really been a big help in our
okay,
community.
great. So just make them aware of it, and then
Yeah.
especially point out if you notice a certain time period, because it makes their job a little easier, that if it's commute times, they
Yeah.
can maybe try to get someone there in the morning or in the afternoon, because they don't want to sit there and there's not a
No, I
single
understand.
car.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
know?
actually,
Yeah.
they did put somebody, because they were running red lights on
Azusa?
Fairgrove and
Oh,
Azusa. I almost got hit twice making a left-hand turn. So they've been parked down the street, and they've gotten quite a few people.
Okay.
That just raced through, that particular area, so.
Okay, great. So if you can keep an eye,
Will do. I'll
with
talk to
your
the
neighborhood
apartment
watch,
manager
yeah.
too. She may have a better idea what times the comes, but I walk my dog every morning, so generally.
So you do see
between
it in the
8 and
morning.
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
So great. Okay, so this is kind of the first step, and so do we agree to move
Yes.
this one forward?
Yes.
So
I agree.
what happens next is that we move it to council, and usually they wait for, like quarterly from, a certain amount of time that all the items that go to traffic commission, then they go to council, because we're just advisory. So then they take it the next step, and they yay, nay,
Right.
and then they have to find the money. You know,
Yeah.
funding for all these things.
It may
so-
not seem like a lot of money, but I know it can add up. Exactly.
You know,
Learned that
well,
with the
you know,
traffic
when they
study.
all add up, so
Yeah, for sure.
that's the problem. I mean, West Covina is a big city. There's a
Sure.
lot of requests, so it
For
is
sure.
going through the process, but bear with us that
Mhm.
it's getting there as long as, you know, council approves it, which I don't see why they would not, but,
Okay.
so then it'll be the next step. So you can contact us as you have been, and
Okay.
we can give you updates of when it's going to council and that type
Okay.
of thing, okay?
Will do. I'll set
All
it
right.
up. Thank you so much.
Great,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, can you also, because we did speak, if you can just fill out an orange sheet?
I will, yeah.
Just so I know.
I didn't plan on speaking,
Oh,
but
I know, but,
did.
thank you, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
This
Alright.
way we have on record, okay.
Yeah. Okay, that was item 3A, so we'll go ahead and move on to item 3B on the agenda, which is the traffic review of 1840 South Nelson Street. So, the city received a resident request to review the existing conditions near 1840 South Nelson Street, and the resident is requesting for the installation of red curb along the fire hydrants located near the residence areas. So as part of this review, we reviewed there was a prima facie speed limit along Nelson Street of 25 miles per hour. Nelson Street is a local road. It's approximately 40 feet in width. It has one lane in each direction of 20 feet and divided by a solid yellow center line. Parking is allowed on both sides of the street. And there is some existing red curb along Nelson Street, near some existing fire hydrants, but it was noted during the field review that it was faded and lacking visibility nearby some of those hydrants. The adjacent land use in this area is single-family residential, and there was a collision review completed over 3.75 years from January 2021 through October 2024, and there was no reported collisions reported during that time. So, we completed a field review on December 12th of 2024. Yeah, well, as you can see in the pictures, we reviewed the areas where there was resident concern near the fire hydrants, and we saw that there was some faded red curb. So we took note of that in the field. And then for our recommendations, it was determined that the red curb near two of the hydrants along the segment need to be refreshed. And these improvements are aimed to increase visibility for the hydrants and prevent vehicles from blocking emergency access. So the first recommendation is to refresh the existing 30 feet of red curb along the fire hydrant located on the west side of Nelson Street, north of Wailea. And the second recommendation is to refresh the existing 25 feet of red curb along the fire hydrant located on the west side of Nelson Street, north of Hilo Street. So those are our recommendations for this area.
Can you go to Google Earth? Because the pictures look like there's a fire hydrant at Hilo.
Yeah, there's two areas.
Oh, there's
They
two
need-
areas.
Yeah, there's two different
Okay.
streets. Cars constantly parked there. Your code enforcement could probably back it up. Every weekend, there's tickets issued.
Right.
Because they go there at night, they're not, it's super dark, and they don't see, well, they should know, you shouldn't park next to a fire
Right,
hydrant.
it's,
but-
yeah, by law,
Yeah,
okay, there is one
Yeah, there's a
there,
few
'cause-
of 'em. There's
'cause
two,
this picture looks like there's no red, and we're saying to refresh it.
I think it could be removed because it looks like
It
there
doesn't look
was.
like the same one.
yeah, at one point, they were painted, it's just faded away. You
Okay.
can barely see it.
Oh, I see, it's
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
whitish,
super.
right. Okay, so we're going to refresh it. The thing is, it is by law, you're not supposed to park within 15 feet of a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
So they can get a ticket, anyone parking and blocking a fire hydrant.
Correct.
So what the city had kind of decided was that just random fire hydrants, because it's by law, you're not supposed to park in front of them, it saves maintenance to go and paint every fire hydrant red, unless it's at a corner and it's blocking line of sight. So if it is at a corner and
It i-
you can't see to get out, then they will put the red curb.
Yeah, perfect.
But if it's just a mid-block
I
fire
understand.
hydrant, it's
Yeah,
like
I-
it just.
I know you don't do that.
Yeah,
Most people,
well, it
but,
just
yeah.
saves the city a
Yeah.
lot of money
I
because,
understand.
like I said, it
Yeah.
is a big city. There's a lot of fire hydrants.
Yeah, sure.
So they've kind of had to kind of try to save cost measures. So in this respect, we are recommending that it all be refreshed, so it'll be the brighter red at those fire hydrants.
Okay, great.
Just these two, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason it's those two and not all the ones pictured, I think that there was a little bit of line of sight from when we did the field review, because as the cars are driving on Hilo Street and Wailea, if you're approaching to try to turn left, I think that they wanted to make sure that you had enough visibility as you're turning left onto Nelson Street.
Mhm.
I think that the other two streets didn't have that issue as much.
And they were still okay, because the pictures look like the red is still bright enough.
Yeah.
See here and here.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's only the two that need to be refreshed,
Mhm.
that were kind of white, faded or whited or
Oh,
something,
okay,
but,
so these.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so
That
those
goes
two are
along
okay.
with the speeders, so you have a double chance to get hit.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we're trying to eliminate that, so, those two locations that
Mhm.
were faded, we will refresh those.
Okay, great.
Are we in agreement to push that forward?
I have a procedural type question.
Okay.
So since this is maintenance in nature, do we need to take this to council, number one? And then number two, if we don't, then I think this could potentially move faster.
No,
But
it doesn't need to be taken to council, since it's, the red curb is already there,
Mhm,
and we're
just
just
to refresh.
refreshing.
Right.
It's a maintenance request.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's even better then.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we can at
and-
least move quicker on this. It'll take the
Yes.
normal process on the previous one, but this one will move a little
Just-
bit quicker,
Great,
hopefully.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Since it's already there as well, so.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question, more maybe a concern.
Mhm.
So on, was it Lanai?
Yeah,
Approaching Nelson, if you're making a left, if we're talking about line of sight, cars exiting Lanai, making a left onto Nelson, that area there, wouldn't it also be a line of sight issue?
it looks like from the pictures on page 3 that they have red.
Oh, it definitely is.
They have red, and it looks to be okay. Maybe cars are infringing on the red. Does it look? is
Yeah, I
it
think
red?
there are some corners that they did get,
pretty faded.
like
Oh, that
Lanai.
one at
Is that at Lahaina?
Yeah, that,
Is this Lahaina or Wade?
Oh, I'm looking at
No, you're
two
on
different
Nelson.
Yeah.
streets.
You're in
Nelson?
There's
Nelson.
Lahaina. Yeah. Let me zoom in there.
Okay, so that's one of them that's gonna be replaced. Is that Lahaina?
I think so. I tried to zoom in on it.
Okay, where's that?
So this is,
This street.
my maps are so zoomed out. Let me try this. So that was, I
The
think that's
zoo
Cumberland.
sign, yeah,
So
go
let's
to-
go to Cumberland at Nelson and then go south. So this is the median red,
Okay.
that sign. And this is Cumberland. So-
Cumberland, and it has
Yeah,
red.
And that has red. So then Lahaina will be the next
This
one.
one, okay.
So I mean, it looks like it's faded from the blue orange review, but this is from 2022. So I don't know if just take it on.
Yeah, our pictures were taken recent.
Yeah.
If it's faded, we can have maintenance go out there and take a look at it too,
It
and,
looks like there
and
was
do the
one
repair.
taken at Lahaina here.
I know, that's why it's kind of
And it says that
confusing,
it's
because
red.
it says,
So
unless we've got the wrong, no, it looks
Yeah,
like
it's
that
not-
house.
No, it's the
Two intersections, I know that.
Yeah, one is Lanai and one is Lahaina. So we can have, like Joanne said, have Public Works look at all of those.
Yeah.
And if they're faded, to repaint them all since they're gonna be there.
Mhm.
yeah, I even mentioned the city council, just provide the paint and we'll put it on, but they won't let you do that.
I
So
know.
we did offer to do that, so.
Lahaina, okay.
Can you say-
I'm putting a note here so that we have it on here.
Okay, Robert's gonna send the maintenance request. for
Okay,
this.
great. Okay, so we sent out the maintenance request already, so.
Great, fantastic.
Now
Thank you.
with trees down and everything else,
Yeah,
it's
gonna get
coming,
pushed.
but I'm not sure when.
Yeah, there was, over by Wood Grove Park, there was a tree that I let code enforcement know, and I let Tony Wu, Ole and that, they got taken care of the
Oh,
same
good,
day. But I'm
good.
sure they're all over
Yeah.
West Covina, so.
Probably with more.
This was
more
blocking
wind.
the whole street.
Oh,
though.
my
It was
goodness.
completely across, so.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Well, thank you, appreciate
Uh-huh,
it.
And we appreciate it, so
Yeah.
just, you gave us your orange
did,
card,
yeah.
so,
All right, thank you.
and then, you can contact us and we'll give you updates, okay?
Will do, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Take care, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You want to close this out?
Yeah. If there's no other comments that are on the agenda,
Okay, no
then I
residents.
can adjourn this meeting at 3:27 PM. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.